Hey, Sarge. So, yep, welcome to the new FMAC.
Hey, thanks. Oh, FMAC. What does FMAK stand for?
Well,
I'm the
give it
freaking
a
voice
give
of
it a
reason
minute,
around here,
Sarge.
and you've
I
got
think
me
it'll come
pissed
to you.
off.
Hello, if anybody's out there. As you might see from the title, I actually have a subject I'd like to mention to everybody. I'll wait to see if anybody comes in. Meanwhile, if anybody's just lurking out there, I'll say hello to you. I hope you had a good day, a good week, and you're looking forward to a good weekend. Come one, come all. Let's talk about it. Do, 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 do. Anybody? Anybody at all? YouTube tells me there's people looking, but nobody's showing up in chat. I can't do this alone, people. Anybody planning on coming in to say hello? Do, do. I know you're out there. I can hear you breathing. Anybody want to come in and chat? I have a subject I'd like to put in front of you. But if you're not interested, I can go off and kill some goblins or something. Because that's what I do. Not looking promising, but I'll wait a little bit. Give people a few minutes to find me. Oh, hey, there's Nikki and Mrs. Nikki. That wasn't right. Hey, let's edit that. Hey, there's Nikki and Mr. Nikki. How you guys doing today? And I know usually my titles don't mean anything, but this time they do. I actually have a subject I'd like to discuss with people from a news article I saw today. I'm waiting to see if any people show up that might have opinions. But how you guys doing in the meantime? I hope Mrs. Nikki gets to have a well-deserved rest all weekend, while Mr. Nikki finally gets out there and gets some of that yard work done. I'm hearing a whole lot of silence. I have a short video I'm going to show, but I was waiting to see if a few more people show up so we can discuss it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you're just covering for him, Nikki. Wow, we're waiting for more people to show up. Maybe I'll do a quick tap dance, or maybe not. Only thing left is to weed. Oh, I hate weeding. You're perfectly welcome. YouTube says people are lurking. Let's see, how long have I been here? I'm going to give it like another minute and a half. And I'll show you guys my video and see if you have any interest in the topic. YouTube can't really make up its mind if anybody's coming in or not. Yeah. Hey, Donna. I think Donna probably knows what I'm going to be talking about. Because Donna watched my other video and commented on this. And we'll throw the link out there because if anybody gets interested, I welcome discussion. This is one of those rare occasions that we here at FMAC, and by we I mean me, have an actual subject to discuss that doesn't involve making fun of people on other channels. Let's see. Meanwhile, Donna, just before you got here, Nikki was telling us how hard it is to get her husband to do anything around the house. But you know, married women always fall back on that old trick. She just says if he doesn't get the work done, she will withhold food. Well, yeah, I know. Usually my weekly news is all for jokes. And this time I was surprised that there was something very serious in there. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought I'd like to see if anybody else out here wants to talk about it. But now, Nikki, you gave up all your power there. There's no other way to control a man. And I have no idea why I am talking like this, by the way, but my voice just seems to do it. Yeah, Donna, I'm sorry to hear that. Hey, Steve, how are you doing? Let's see. I'm at 8:45. At 10 minutes, I'm going to play the video I want to show you. By the way, Donna, all I did was clip out the relevant part for this. I'm not going to make them watch my whole video. It's nice of you to say, Donna, but I should tell you that I do not have any extra money to lend people. And Donna, I'm hoping you are still talking to us from freedom. By the way, we have a new sponsor this week. We are now sponsored by Sunkissed Orange Zero. And it's not as good as the Dr. Pepper and A&W Root Beer Zero, but it's the only zero the store had, so. Oh, I hit the 10-minute mark. Well, there's not many people here, but let me show you this video. This is, as Donna knows, each week I read our local weekly newspaper, which is not a very good newspaper. I actually started doing it first to spread news to people from around here who don't live around here anymore. But the more I read the paper, the more I found out the paper is pretty useless. So now I read it mostly as a joke, but there was something rather serious in it today, and I'm going to play this and then see if people want to discuss. Let me throw this out there again while I think of it. And here we go. Here's something that says Battle for Baby. Yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. Kept newborn from Clearfield County couple for 6 days for not consenting to have baby's blood drawn. Couple cites religious beliefs, falsified facts at center of case. Let's see what this is about. A couple have been reunited with the baby after the 12-hour-old infant was taken from them by CYS. The baby was born July 15, and according to the father, 12 hours later, as the parents waited to receive their discharge papers, a police officer showed up at the hospital along with a CYS agent. CYS alleged that because the baby's mother had had no prenatal care, had not received a Group B strep test while pregnant, and because the parents did not consent to have their baby's blood drawn, the parents were acting against medical advice and putting the baby's safety at risk. The baby was taken from its mother's arms. Now, let me just say, I will think that parents who do not want to have prenatal checks and blood tests and so forth are wrong. But do we want the government involved in this? This may be one that I go through the whole article. Parents told the journal their religious beliefs prohibited bloodletting, and it hasn't said, but I think, isn't it the Jehovah's won't donate blood? They won't have blood drawn. I can't believe this happened. The baby's parents went immediately to Clearfield County Courthouse to file an emergency custody petition. While there, the baby's mother was arrested on a civil 302 warrant. Warrant for emergency, see page 3. Where's that? Oh, that's page 3. Sorry, folks. Warrant for emergency examination because, according to the husband, while CYS was preparing to take the baby, the husband said something to the effect that doing so could cause the mother to want to shoot herself. The wife was, however, discharged from the emergency room because the doctor diagnosed her condition as political discrimination, religious belief, and healthcare recommendation conflict. Okay, now let's think about this for a second. Should you be taken into custody because somebody else says if this happens, they would probably want to kill themselves? It seems shaky. You know, it's not quite the same as saying my wife has threatened to kill herself. You know, it's the husband guessing at what the wife's thinking, and the police act upon that. This article, man, during the emergency custody hearing in front of Judge Paul Cherry, a CYS representative listed other encounters the couples had in the past with the agency involving their 5 other children. Cherry confirmed that the couple had not declined blood testing their newborn. Had the couple not declined, they wouldn't be in court that day. So the matter of the other children was a moot point. Seems like the judge, at least, is thinking. CYS acknowledged this is true. The infant's mother told the judge that CYS had falsified facts and produced records faxed from the hospital showing she did in fact have prenatal care, did have the strep test, and that she was deemed by the ER doctor to be mentally sound. The baby's father said the baby had its temperature taken and its breathing and heart rate monitored at the hospital and that the child was perfectly healthy. At no point did the hearing did CYS allege the baby was in any way unhealthy or in danger, nor did CYS or the judge cite any laws that mandate testing or prenatal care. Rather, the issue CYS identified was that the parents refused to comply with testing and were uncooperative because they acted against medical advice. It's not the government's job. The baby's father asked the court what the point of consent is. If the only answer that's acceptable is the one approved of by CYS, he questioned the precedent of ruling against the parents, which said as making consent a one-way street would constitute a clown world. Well, okay, guy, whatever. Judge Cherry ultimately refused the parents' emergency custody request and ruled the baby's welfare was best seen to by CYS. He set the next hearing date as July 29. Could we have a big WTF? The parents drove immediately to Harrisburg Superior Court, only to learn they don't have jurisdiction. The father then filed a civil rights case in federal court against Judge Jerry in Johnstown with an attached motion for emergency injunctive relief. CYS withdrew its case, provided the parents complied with CYS inspection of their house and other children before returning the infant. I think you can guess what 2 words I would have for CYS at this point. You know, if you know me, I believe in vaccines. I believe in prenatal care. I believe in doing what the doctors recommend. But I also believe that the government should be very limited in how they interfere with either your body or the bodies that you are in charge of. Anyway, anybody have any thoughts? Children and youth went in and took away a perfectly healthy baby just because supposedly the parents hadn't had all the tests that CYS thought they should have. Now, it seems to me parents are supposed to be able to make those decisions for their children, even if I would disagree. Exactly, Nikki. They said it was on religious grounds. To me, this has the First Amendment written all over it. And then when you find out besides that the mother actually had prenatal care and a lot of the other stuff that they said they want, since when are they going to go and monitor every baby in the hospital? They obviously have it out for this couple because they said about having incidents involving the other children. But this baby was perfectly healthy. This isn't like one of those cases where like the kid needs a liver transplant or something and the parents say they're against it. And the hospital goes to court to try to get a emergency injunction or whatever to take custody away from the parents so they can save the life of a child. This I don't know, seems way over the line to me, but if anybody would like to take an opposing view, I'd be glad to hear your reasoning. You may not have noticed from my calm demeanor while I was reading that, but this one upset me a little bit. Steve is confused because I think Steve must have gone into my chat and everybody else is over in Finkel's, Steve. And I'm sorry I wasn't even noticing because I didn't pop my chat out. And hello, Howard, who also must have gone in my chat because I didn't see him show up in Finkel's. So anyway, what we're talking about is the fact that children and youth took a healthy baby 12 hours after the baby was born, took it away because they didn't like the parents' medical choices. Hello, fact. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of comments except for Nikki said what happened to freedom of religion, which I also think is a big part of this. Well, that's nice, Howard, but I'd really like to talk on this subject today. This is one of those rare times when I came in to talk about something specific, and it has nothing to do with any other channels or anything like that. I want to know what people think, how much power the government should have over the way you raise your children. Hello, Nikki. Where's your flowers?
Hello.
There it is.
Okay. CYS or CPS or DCFS or whatever alphabet name you want to call them are not in the business to actually protect children. They get money for every child that they can, quote unquote, steal from parents for whatever reason that they may come up with. That's how they make their money. Now, these parents, they've already got children, whether they're homeschooled, go to public school, it doesn't matter. Those children obviously are healthy because the children, I am assuming, are still in the house. Otherwise, that would have been brought up as to a reason why they wanted to take this baby. And it is Jehovah's Witness, which is the religion that doesn't allow bloodletting. But the baby's healthy. It's obviously breathing fine. No oxygen having to be given. It's crying, it's pooping, it's peeing. Okay, so the parents don't want to get it tested. There's plenty of parents out there who, I hate to say it, don't give the vaccines for the measles, mumps, rubella. Why? I think that it has to do with the fact that these parents have been on the radar and have won against the system, and that's why they're being targeted.
That sounds likely to me. Because there was nothing in particular about this child that said it needed saved. And like you said, the other 5 children are all still in the home. So obviously, whatever complaints they have against this family, no judge so far has said the kids need to be taken away. Well, it said that CYS has had contact. I forget how it said it now with the parents before, but where they brought that up, the judge said that had nothing to do with this baby and was irrelevant, which makes me wonder why the judge then ruled to take the baby away. What was it that he decided in this case? Because, you know, like I said, I thought it was Jehovah's, and they didn't say that these people are Jehovah's. They just said they had religious um, objections. But it's well established that Jehovah's do not get transfusions. Nobody tries to force them to. So why couldn't these people exercise their religious rights? Yeah, I just find it to be very intrusive, and I wouldn't be surprised if I knew this family. I would disagree with the way the parents are raising their kids, but that's got nothing to do with it. It's not up to me. It's not up to CYS. It's not up to the government at all, unless there is some imminent danger.
Exactly. If the child was born addicted to drugs and they can, you can tell that because they'd be having withdrawals. If the child was premature, if the child was severely low birth weight, and none of that was mentioned. Donna, vaccines start actually at 8 weeks, except for when they're first born, they do a heel prick test to see, I think it's like a PCR or something like that. And they put medicine in the eyes to protect the eyes. They didn't even bring up the fact that the child was jaundiced, which
No,
is sometimes, it's a normal thing for newborns.
no,
PKU. Thank you, FAC.
and to be clear, especially since I know some of you didn't see the video, I'm the one who brought up vaccines. I just in my editorializing, they didn't mention vaccines at all in the article. It just had to do with the parents not wanting to do everything that the doctors were asking. And CYS decided to come in and scoop up the baby and then tried to have the mother committed because the dad said, if you take the baby away, she'll probably want to kill herself.
Well, that would be a normal reaction. As a mother, I myself would probably think the same thing. Come and try and take my grandkids away, and they're going to commit me for either murder or being crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I hate to say it, but that's a normal reaction. Um,
And like I said, it's not like the husband said, my wife threatened to kill herself. You know what I mean?
right. He just said, "Hey, you do this, and there's possibility."
Yeah. That that is not worth taking someone into custody for and forcing an examination. I mean, we all know you threatened to kill Mr. Nicky on a daily basis and
I
nobody's
do.
arrested you yet.
You're right, and I do. Um, and Steve, okay, I understand where you're coming from as far as looking at the home and there was no room. But I'm gonna go back to the 1800s, even early 1900s. You had grandma, you had mom, you had the kids. Grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad, and the kids all living in a one-room house. Who is to say um, that every kid has to have their own room, that that you can only put 2 boys in one room and 2 girls in another room, and who's to say how many kids you can have, and that they have to have X amount of square space for themselves.
It's interesting because just today I was telling someone a story that involved, um, well, it was the family of a guy I graduated with, although this story wasn't about him, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, 2 parents and 8 kids. They grew up in a 2-bedroom house, and it was a small house. I mean, I think the apartment I live in right now is probably bigger than what they had. Now, would it have been right for the government to come in and say, we don't like this? We're going to have to take a couple of kids out of here? Mm,
I don't think so. I mean, as long as everybody's healthy and growing and learning, and not just necessarily learning what the government says that they have to learn, but learning other things like, you know, the fact that it has to rain for grass to grow, you know. As long as they're learning, as long as they're happy and healthy and, they have love, isn't that all that's really needed?
I believe so. And I also believe it's not the government's decision. Like I said,
Well,
now, if that family is crowded into one bedroom and the place is crawling with cockroaches and rats, you know, then maybe they'd say, this is not a good situation. We got to do something about this, Your Honor. But that doesn't seem to be have anything to do with this case. Nothing like
no,
that.
no, nothing at all because, like I said, they tried to bring that other contact with the other 5 children into the case, and the judge says that doesn't matter. So obviously, the other 5 children are still in the house, which means that there's no vermin. The house isn't, got mold growing everywhere.
Yeah, it
You
might be
know,
different if they had said, look, we've been looking into them because of these other kids. There's 2 other who need constant nursing care because of this family, or you know what I mean? If they were saying that there was what's the word I wanted, history of medical problems because of this family's beliefs, maybe it would be worth arguing in court. But yeah, there's nothing here like that, or it would have come up.
right. And like I said, I believe that this family, because they have been looked into and they've quote unquote beat all the other whatever
Yeah,
charges or however you want to say it, I believe this family was targeted.
yeah, I think so. It's like they were looking for an excuse to go after them.
And Steve, your question then, why take the baby? There had to be a reason. The reason is money. Period. DCFS, CYS, CPS, whatever you want to call them, they get paid from the federal government X amount per child. When you follow corruption like this or something that should outrage everybody, when you follow why the outrage is there, especially here in the United States, you got to follow the money.
You know what's funny? For those of you that weren't here at the beginning and heard me explain, every week I read a local newspaper live, and I do it for a joke because it's a really crappy weekly paper. And I came across this article that, for a change, there was something in there serious. But the thing is, afterwards, I did some Googling to try to find more details, and I couldn't find anybody except for this crappy weekly paper that had covered it. There are 2 daily papers in the area. There are TV stations. Nobody else was interested in this. I just can't believe that.
Um, because the mainstream media, the bigger news stations, bigger newspapers, that's really not a story to them anymore because most people put their head in the sand and go, well, you know what? Obviously, there's something there. So if the kids are taken away, oh well. We are so used to children being taken away from parents. And we hear a lot of the same stories when the children are taken away. Oh, the mom and dad, they have too many kids, it's overcrowded, it's whatever. That it's not even a shock anymore. But then you hear of the children who are actually in CPS care who nobody checks on and they end up getting murdered.
Yeah, or abused.
Yeah. And they age out of the system and they have nothing. They're like, okay, you're 18, here you go, boom, out on the street.
And I,
If this government agency actually cared for children, the children that are already in their care we wouldn't have the horror stories that we have. I've seen where they've taken kids in, away out of their houses or whatever, and these kids have had to sleep in the actual government agency offices because they don't have enough homes for them.
and I think we all know that there are times that kids have to be taken away.
Yes, I'm not saying that there's
Yeah,
not, but
yeah.
you have a healthy baby. Why mess with a healthy baby when there might be a 3-year-old who's suffering from, rat bites?
Exactly. Let me tell you another CYS story I'm available. I know about. It involves a friend of mine. Uh, Actually, my other friend Danny, not Danny that we all know here, but Danny was from Ohio. She lives in Vegas now. A couple months back, she had a cousin. Well, the parents were both drug addicts, and the child was taken away. And by the time they took the child away, it was one of those ones she was, like 40 pounds underweight and all that. They took her to a grandmother who's legally blind and pretty much crippled and couldn't really take care of the child. So Danny and her wife, who both have full-time jobs, no criminal record, no record of drug or alcohol abuse, and live in a good home and all that, said they would like to foster the kid in hopes of adopting. And the one CYS worker, or CPS, whatever they have in Ohio, was trying to do what she could to make that happen. And, of course, there are some extra hoops to jump across state lines. But again, there was a choice between this legally blind, crippled grandmother, and there was one other aunt who wanted the child, who was also a drug addict and usually sleeping on other people's couches. But of course, if you foster a kid, the state's going to give you a check. So you know why she wanted the kid. But CYS decided that they didn't want to give the kid to Danny and Bree. And there's no proof of it, but Danny is convinced it's because she knew the supervisor at that office slightly, and that supervisor knew she was a lesbian. So they decided the kid was better off either with a blind, crippled grandmother or another drug addict than two stable, full-time job, good income lesbians. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and I mean, Steve, yeah, kinda. I would say yes, kinda. I mean, all you have to do is Google the corrupt business of CPS in the United States, and you will have horror stories. I mean, Nancy Schaefer, who is or was a state senator for Georgia, um, has even wrote about it. How these parents are told that if they want to see your children again, you need to sign a paper and give up your rights.
Hmm.
Parents are always, or not always, but are often threatened into cooperation by the threat of we're going to take your kids away, period. Um, you have foster parents who 90% of them are wonderful, caring, can support these kids, but then you have foster parents out there who have 18, 19, 20 kids all at the same time and are earning 500 or so dollars a month for taking care of these kids.
Hello, Mitch. Yep.
So I don't know. Hi, Mitch.
If there's anybody out there that thinks they can make an argument for CYS, you're welcome.
Now, I will make an argument for CYS as far
Well, I mean,
as the children who definitely need help.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, the 3-year-old who already knows how to use Narcan because mommy and daddy OD all the time.
Yeah.
The 5-year-old who comes to school with black eyes and bruises everywhere that can't be explained as, she fell out of a tree or you know,
Yeah,
fell off her bike or whatever.
the 7-year-old who is left to babysit the 2-year-old twins for the weekend while mom and dad go off to Vegas or someplace.
Right.
That kind of stuff happens too. Yeah. But to catch people up, because people weren't here at the beginning, I showed a video. It was very interesting because it involved me, but I saw a newspaper article today where CYS took a newborn, literally newborn, it was 12 hours after the baby was born. They took the baby because the parents didn't want to follow all the doctor's instructions. For instance, they have a religious exemption to having blood drawn. The baby's perfectly healthy. The parents have 5 other kids who are in their custody, and there has been no evidence that those kids are abused, even though CYS doesn't seem to like something about the family. But yeah, they took this baby away, and they had it, I think, for 6 days. The father went to file a federal civil rights suit, and then CYS changed their mind. They said as long as the parents allowed them to do a home inspection. So that's what we're talking about. CYS, as far as I'm concerned, overstepping themselves.
And see, I think what happens with a lot of these government agencies is they start from a good idea.
Oh,
Okay.
sure, yeah.
The idea of CYS was to actually protect the children, you know, and it was like to help with the child labor laws and keeping the family together and making sure that the children were healthy. They started from a good place, but it just grew and had so many powers given to it by the government that now if they don't like the fact that you rolled your eyes because the nurse said that the baby needs to be under the ultraviolet lights for jaundice, well, CYS can come in and take the kid. Okay, sorry, I can put the baby in the window and still get the same thing, except do it naturally through the sun. But you can say the same thing about what is it? PETA. They're not a government entity per se, but PETA was actually, when it first started, it was actually for animals and children.
Yeah.
And that's where CPS grew out of, was the Animal Welfare Act.
I think we always overcorrect every problem. It's like you said, it was a good idea. There's a reason for it, but they go too far, and I think we just do that all the time. I always think of things like sexual harassment. You know,
Yeah, when a
it used to
5-year-old
be.
gets kicked out of kindergarten for trying to kiss a little girl on the
Well, yeah,
cheek and
that's yeah. But I wasn't even going that far. I was, it started off. It used to be like a running joke, the boss chasing the secretary around the desk. But it was a real thing. Women would get fired if they didn't play along. I mean, the
right,
Hollywood casting couch was a true cliche. And people said something has to be done about this, and they were right, something had to be done. And then it got to be where all it took was for a guy to say, "Hey, is that a new blouse? It looks nice." Oh my God, he's sexually harassing me. You know what I mean? It goes
right.
way over. And like with kids, like you said about the that with kids or things like too, you know, like when I was working at the library, I had to watch out. I didn't walk up to a kid and say, "How you doing, Jack?" "Hey, Mr. Muckster touched me." You know what I mean? It just
Exactly.
everything when there's a problem, it goes nuts, you know? It's like, I don't know, parents used to whip their kids and stuff, you know? It's like, that's not a good thing. But then it gets to be like, wait a minute, you corrected him? You know, it's like,
Oh, right, right. You know, why did you get him? Yeah, or why did you beat his butt? Oh, because he threw a rock through the window? Oh, well, okay, yeah, I can see that. Um, but now the kids are taught in school if your parent raises their voice at you too often, you need to call CPS and we'll come rescue you.
eh, oh, well. So, how's everybody doing?
What kind of critters are chasing your birds, Mitch?
Yeah, I don't know if everybody realizes this or not. But, you know, in actuality, Mitch lives in a nursing home, and he has chicken wallpaper, and he keeps talking about how he's out feeding the chickens, and all the nurses are like, "Oh, isn't that cute? Old guy Mitch is out there talking to his chickens again."
In fact, the fact that I didn't even catch that, I guess that goes along with what you said is that I'm just too pure of a soul to catch things like that.
Well, I would tell you what's wrong with black guys, but not while Mitch is in the room. Fact doesn't scare me.
But Mitch does, huh?
Well, I think I just explained to you that Mitch is a little crazy. First time I saw Mitch, he just looked like something out of a like 1930s movie with this, and speaking in the vernacular of the time, this old Negro sitting on the porch. I think he was probably smoking on a pipe and rocking back and forth and speaking words of wisdom. You know, that's what it just looked like. It looked like something out of an old movie. And then I found out that he was actually a crazy old man.
Oh, you mean then he opened his mouth and said, "Just Muckster, you're one crazy son of a bitch, and if you come over here, I'm gonna kick your ass."
No, actually, the first thing I heard him saying, this was back on another panel we both used to go to. I won't mention the name of TPP here, but somebody was challenging something. I don't know what the thing was. The person thought they knew something. You know how people are. There was some kind of discussion going on. And here's this crazy old man that looked like he was out of a 1930s movie, The Song of the South or something. And all of a sudden, he's like quoting, Greek philosophers, and, you know, uh, speaking, he's like, he's read these books in like the original Latin, and he's talking, just all this stuff. And it's like, he just totally shut the guy down. And I sat there thinking, hey, I like this guy. He's crazy, but I like him.
That's probably because you and him both can read the old Latin.
I actually can read a little bit of Latin. But I I used to read a lot, but I'm more of a lazy reader. I read to be entertained. Mitch reads all those old philosophers and histories and all that stuff for fun.
I read a lot, and I pick up anything I pick up, I'll start reading. Um, yeah, I mean, yes, I still go to the library. I still have a library card. Um, you know, it, reading is how you learn. You know,
Uh,
hell, we'll buy a new appliance or a new yard tool or something, and Mr. Nicky hands me the owner's manual and says, "Tell me how to put it together and how to make it run." Because like a quote unquote normal guy, you put everything together, you got 5 screws left over. Oh, well, that's good. Put gas in it and there you go. It starts.
yeah, I hate manuals. I cannot learn how to do something from an instruction manual.
I can read the instructions, A, B, C, D, but I have to read it and then I have to do it and visually see it.
Yeah. See, I've used this example before, but this is the way I am. It's a perfect example. Whenever Sarge first pulled me into this deal and he was explaining StreamYard to me. See, I'm the kind of guy, if you're going to teach me something new, and and I'll say to people, you tell me the basics, and they start telling me the basics. And I'm like, no, 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 back up. I mean the basics. You know, tell me how to push the power button. Let's start there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like I told Sarge, I said, teach me, show me the basics, and it takes a little bit of a struggle till I can get it because my brain, I learn differently. I've found from other people. But once I get it, I said to him, I said, you teach me the basics, and I guarantee you within a week, I'll be showing you stuff about this that you don't know. And it was true. Within a week, I'm like going, hey, did you know you could do this? Hey, did you see this? Hey, did you? But that's the way I always am. But like I said, I need somebody to show me basics. I can never get it by reading an instruction manual or a textbook or whatever. I could sit in class and absorb all kinds of stuff. Don't expect me to do homework.
In fact, no, I don't do Audible or, you know, where anybody's reading to me. I I actually like to read the words and paint the pictures in my brain myself, of the action and everything. But no, I understand what you're saying, Muckster. I can sit and absorb something. I can read something and I know that it says, step 1, do the push this button, but I actually have to read it and then physically go to whatever it is that I'm doing or reading about and actually look and see, okay, here's the button that says I'm supposed to push. So let me push it and see what it does. So, there's like 3 different types of learners. You've got your visual, your auditory, and your physical. I learn all 3. I don't just learn one.
Mhm.
I have to have all 3.
So as you were talking, I looked down beside me at stuff sitting on my little chair side tray that I got. And I just thought you'd find this interesting. A week ago or so, I thought, I need something over here that I can have my laptop sitting there in case I need to use it. And I got this tray from Amazon and I put it together and I just thought I'd mention to you since you mentioned it earlier. Do you know what's sitting on my kitchen table?
Either the instruction manual or the extra screws.
The extra screws.
Yes, Fac, you're right. I'm the one that breaks out the rules to a game, reads it, and then has to tell everybody how to play the game because they didn't want to read the rules. I'm sorry, that's just me. But then again, that is also I think that's part of what makes me me because I do read anything and everything, and it allows my brain to, I guess, absorb some of it, but to also make my own opinions.
Oh, wait a minute. You form opinions?
Well,
But
yeah.
but 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 you're a woman.
Oh, I know.
Mr. Nicky, you allow her to have opinions? I'm surprised I didn't just summon a friend of Ariel's just then, because the one day Ariel said about his wife making him coffee, and this one person in chat was like, that's not what you expect from a wife. Anyway.
Oh, he's trying to type an answer to you now. He didn't say it out loud, so.
And I can imagine him doing it. It's like this.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, hey, there's
Uh-oh.
Cliff.
Cliff made it in. Hey, Cliff, how did you do that? The Vigilance Committee, Cliff Williams.
Yeah, I just lost a lot of respect for you right there. You don't know how he changed his name?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that I went and looked, I thought it was just on StreamYards
Oh, oh, that would have been a good trick.
because
Yeah, I could see.
I just have the StreamYards up. I didn't have the chat up.
I could, I can see why it took Mr. Nicky so long to type that. It was 3 whole words, adding up to 10 characters.
But like you said, it was you know,
Yeah.
hunt and peck.
Yep.
Yeah, you. Yeah, and that's what he said. He goes, "Oh, now I see why it took so long. It was 10 characters, 3 whole words." Mr. Nicky just hides in his man shed. Yeah, we have a garage and a man shed. But then we have 2 other sheds that I've taken over. One is for the chickens, and it's part of the chicken coop. And the other one has all the bee equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And then we also have my porch that I helped to install, which was just brick at the bottom of the hill. It was like a patio, but they both, Mr. Nicky and my son, built an enclosure on it, and now it's his forge shop. So I have 3 buildings that I'm not allowed in, but they have 2 buildings that they're not allowed in.
By the way, you mentioned that. Today's Friday, Wednesday. I was talking to somebody, and they said about that they started keeping bees. Um, I'm wondering if this is a trend that a lot of people, because of all the publicity about bees, if more people are saying, I'm going to do something about that. I've got some yard space for and flowers, and I'm going to get some bees.
It is a trend that more people are jumping on. Um, it's a question of how long they're going to continue with the trend. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody knows that the bees, the pollinators, bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, all of that are needed. And the fact that all the chemicals that are now being used have cut down on the populations. But depending on what study you read, either all the pollinators are, in danger of disappearing and we're all going to starve to death, or all the pollinators, even though they have a lower population, they're actually better for the world now and they're at just the right balance
Hmm.
because they've learned how to deal with all the chemicals.
Are they a lot of work?
No,
I wouldn't think so, that it wouldn't be like something you had to constantly be after.
no. I mean, it all depends on how much work you want to put into it. But in the summer, really, I mean, you can go in and inspect your hives once a month, and really you're just looking to see if they're, you know, making honey or still laying eggs, the queen bee. Um, but it's not like a dog that you have to take to the vet and get its shots and take to the groomer and or a cat that you have to pet because it's an asshole and won't leave you alone unless you do what it says. The bees are gonna live the way that they're gonna live no matter what you as the human do to them.
I, as you're saying, I'm picturing somebody going into a vet's office carrying a little bee carrier.
Yeah,
My my queen seems a little depressed. I'm wondering.
right. I mean, bees have lived thousands of years without man-made hives,
Yeah,
just like rabbits, just like birds. In all reality, it is the humans who have caused a lot of these other species to go extinct.
yeah, because it's ours, all ours.
Because we think because we have a brain that can produce thoughts and words and we can communicate that we know better than nature.
And it's going to get us back for that. There's something else I was going to say. And I started thinking about two different things at once, and so I lost the whole thread. Oh, no, I know what I was going to say, though. For people who weren't here, you missed a very rare occasion here at the FMAX studios. We started off actually talking about a single topic. It's a banner day. Please mark it on your calendars.
Yes, and I apologize for getting us off of that topic.
Well,
Uh,
actually, I think we had exhausted it because nobody seemed to be disagreeing with us. So it's
Right.
essentially just sitting here and keep saying, "Yeah, you're right too." Well, you know what? I think you have a good point. That. Oh, look, Steve just said something semi-intelligent,
And Mitch says this is actually an interesting conversation.
and and Mister Nicky would like to chime in here as soon as he gets done typing out his 5 words.
He's been talking to Cliff. They've been ignoring us, really.
Uh,
They've been carrying on a whole conversation in the chat.
and I'm getting as bad as Finkel. I've been paying pretty much no attention to chat. But then again, look at the people in chat. Are they worth paying attention to?
Well, Miss Donna is.
My ex, I get in, well, let's put it up there. My ex decided to get into beekeeping many years ago. He was beyond thrilled when I gifted him with a bee suit, helmet, and smoker. He never thought to get that stuff. So,
And
you're saying your ex was in Mensa.
yeah, I multitask so Muck can go smoke fish guts. And that right there, the bee suit, the helmet, and the smoker, and all of that. Um, I've only used my smoker twice. My bee suit, I think I've only used once. And then the veil, I only use it because I don't like the bees getting stuck in my hair.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, I don't. I probably should. Everybody says, protect yourself, but I don't get stung or anything either.
Well, they are attracted to sweet things.
Well, then maybe that's why Mr. Nicky gets, stung. In fact, I've only gotten stung once, and that was my fault because I moved too fast and actually ended up squeezing a bee. So it was in danger and it had to attack.
Uh, so in the wintertime, do they have to be taken inside somewhere, or could they just like be covered up and they'll hibernate there?
They don't have to be taken inside. They actually stay in their hive and they form, I forget the technical name for it, but it was fact. Um they actually form like a ball around the queen and
Okay. Oh,
they're
okay. They shield her with their bodies.
yeah, and they keep each other warm, from the body heat and everything. And they basically survive the winter. They don't hibernate, but they don't fly and stuff. They shelter together, keep each other warm. They eat the honey that they've made, for their energy.
Mm.
Depending on where you're at, and how bad a winter you get, you can like insulate your hives to help them, just like a house, you would insulate to keep the heat in the winter. Um, but yeah, it's going to be quite interesting because I'm waiting to see um really if all of my hives make it through the winter.
Yeah. And Cliff, CYS did try to bring the couple's other 5 kids into the case, but the judge said it was irrelevant to what was going on with the baby.
Fact, I don't know what you would call a frozen honeybee.
I'm a little afraid to ask.
Unless it's not to be because it's frozen.
Frozen honeybee.
All right, tell us,
Yeah.
Fact.
I'm like trying to think of things like a honey pop, ice something. I got nothing.
An ice bee?
Nice bee, ice bee, ice bee. And thanks for mentioning that, Cliff. And by the way, I'm sure anybody that comes here with any regular,
Honeydew.
uh, yeah, it's not really frozen though. I'm not sure we can accept that answer back. But anybody who's been here at all in the last 3 months knows I've been harping on this every hour on the hour. But this Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, is our first, we call it podcast for lack of a better word, but it's a one-on-one thing where we're going to have people come in and just tell their stories, whatever story it is they have that they want to tell. So the first one is this Sunday, 1 o'clock, and I think she's going to be interesting.
Now, and I think I've asked this before, but that was, a couple days ago, so it's
Yeah.
probably out of my mind. Is this an interview type podcast?
Well, see, it's that's the thing, guys. I keep trying to find labels because, you know, I decided today, actually, as I was sending a message to somebody about that, they have a friend that wants to come on. And I just decided today that our titles would be host and guest rather than interview or anything because we're not really looking, it'll be one on one, but like, say, it's just like me and you here now. What we're looking for is basically if you have a story, you will tell it. And my job right now would just be, if maybe you start straying off too far, like pull you back, it's like, well, but let's get back to, your lazy husband or whatever. Um, but I mean, as long as the person is telling their story and that, we'll just let them go. Some people might need some prodding. They might need you to ask questions because, well, I don't think it'll be the problem this Sunday, but I can tell you, um, this lady that is coming Sunday, I've known her for several years on Facebook. We've never met in person, but that's not so odd these days anymore. And she told me that she is going to talk about things that she has never told any of her close friends, and even her family doesn't know about it, you know?
Right.
So, and it's like she's ready to tell her story now. So hopefully I won't have to prod at her. And actually, I don't want to be the one up here for these. At the very beginning, I said I want to just be like the backstage producer. So, of course, the very first person I get to agree to do one, she says to me, I wouldn't feel comfortable telling anybody but you, you know. So I have to be up here. But we actually have some other people that are lined up. We just have to get together with them now and come up with times and dates. And hope I'm really hoping that it'll go well, and other people will see what we're doing, and they'll feel comfortable coming in. Because it's not in any way going to be us trying to trap people or get more out of them than they want to give. It's just going to
Mhm.
be letting people. And again, I've talked about this before, but like I've said, you know, it can be somebody coming in and talking about how they survived an abusive marriage, or they survived cancer, or maybe it's somebody who just uh, took a few years off and traveled the world. Or it can be somebody who, when they were 12 years old, their parents decided to move from New York City to a small town in Iowa, and they could talk about what that was like for a child. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be that person's story. And I think pretty much everybody's going to have a story that someone can relate to. Anyway,
Right.
I'm hoping it'll go well.
And like Fact said, it's intimate, it's safe, it's discovery and discussion. I think you said that it's not going to be so much discussion. It's just going to be them telling their story, but not a lot of question and answer type thing.
Yeah. And now we will, time allows and so forth. Um, and obviously towards the end of the their time, we will take relevant questions or comments from chat. Although I want to tell you, we will stream over several of our channels, but if you want to be recognized in chat, you will have to be in the podcast channel chat. That's the only one we'll monitor for that. But um, but that you don't know whether because we want to keep them under an hour. So like now somebody might need a couple hours, and what we'll do is we'll say, can you come back and we'll do a part two? Because I think usually if you're watching live, as we've we've all been involved in that, you can do a 3, 4, 5 hour live and people will hang around for some reason. But if you do a recording, people will look at it and go, an hour and a half. I'll get back to it sometime, So
Right.
because most people will probably be watching it, later on. They won't necessarily be there when you're doing it. So we want to keep it plus, but yeah, on that point, our whole thing is about the person being comfortable. In fact, the one who's coming, I had given her, because see, now she'll be new to everybody. She doesn't YouTube at all. And I sent her a link for the channel. I said, if you want to tell anybody you're doing it, this is where you would tell them to go. And yesterday she like apologized to me. She goes, I hope you don't mind, but I'm not sure I want to tell anybody just yet and stuff. And I said, Jocelyn, whatever you're comfortable with, that's what I want. That's, and, maybe I am a bad producer. I should be trying to force more exciting things and that, to get more people watching, but really we just want to give a platform to people who have stories to tell, and hopefully it'll be interesting for people to watch.
Yeah, kind of like a human interest thing, but
Yeah,
not having all the interruptions.
exactly. Yep. Yeah, we that's why we're definitely not doing panels, It'll just be the one thing, and my thing is, and it'll be easy for people like Jocelyn on Sunday who's not real familiar with YouTube, but like say it was you, um it might be hard to convince you to ignore chat. I'm going to I am going to ask people to just click on private chat and ignore everything else. And that way they won't see whatever people are saying. But it also, because then the guys backstage, if they want to say, oh, hey, you know, her her microphone roboted on that last part or something, they can send us a message up on private. But yeah, I want the person up there to just, sort of be in that space then. And, and like I said, for some people who, those of us who have some experience with this, it might be hard to get them to ignore chat, but I'm hoping.
Yeah. I can see that, like you said, those of us who, are used to talking and paying attention to chat and, waiting for certain people to come in so you can say hi to them and all that. I can see where going over to private chat would be good.
Yeah,
Um,
and in fact, I will tell you on Sunday, I won't even be looking at chat, so, I won't be sitting there going, oh, hey, Ariel, hey, Kuza, it's going to be just about what's going on up here. And
right.
I'm, I'm hoping all three of the other guys are going to be here and they'll be backstage and they will, whenever it's appropriate, they will highlight a chat, for us. Or like I said, they'll also be looking for things like if there's some technical thing going on, then they can private chat us and let us know about it. And also, like if someone has some photographs and things like that, they can be back there pulling them up when it's needed. So yeah, it's going to be a team thing, you know. So I know,
In fact, that
I keep going on about it, but I am excited about it. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I was gonna FAC actually has a um
No, we've talked about that. I don't want to. If it's necessary, I can think of some examples where it's necessary, but no, I like the live format. Hey, we'll see you, Steve. You know, I'd say come back, but yeah, we don't really care. I'm just kidding. Mid, yeah, I guess no, I guess it is, isn't it? Well, go off and do something weekendy, Steve. I do have to remember. Jocelyn also told I have to write myself notes for what I want to say at the beginning because there'll be a few housekeeping things. But she said I might want to give people trigger warnings because it will include uh, talk about addiction and domestic abuse. She didn't tell
yeah,
me who was abused or whatever. I'm not exactly sure, but I have to remember to warn people that ahead of time in case somebody, maybe has PTSD from a previous relationship or something.
right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this not just because of the show and stuff, but you may have gathered just from the bit that we've known each other. I'm very fond of strong women. You know,
No. Really? I thought you liked those women who will,
I
bow their
have
heads and say, "Yes, Muckster, whatever you say, I'll go do that."
I
'Cause
I
guess what?
I I've always I can't say I don't understand guys. I understand them because I know what their problem is. It amazes me the guys who want a dumb bimbo. And it amazes me even more the women who pretend to be dumb bimbos to get a guy. You know, um, I'm sure it has a lot to do with my mother. I like women who can do for themselves, and like this woman, she had a baby when she was 15. And she finished school and all that, and I admire that kind of thing.
Uh, but, sometimes I sometimes have to ask, those women who play at being the dumb bimbo, it makes you wonder, are they maybe really more intelligent because they
They're
played the part to get where
yeah,
they want, and then they turn it around and they're the one that
yeah,
rules the house?
the power behind the throne or whatever. Yeah, but
Yeah.
would you really want to live that way? It's a life of manipulation. And I mean, I know you do manipulate Mr. Nicky in a lot of ways, but would you want that to be your entire life, pretending to be something you weren't?
No.
I don't, I, the first I knew that sort of thing existed was when I was in college and I was talking to a girl, and she was saying how when she was in high school, she would pretend to be bad at math so boys would like her. And I was like, you kidding me? It's like, because I was never like that. I'd have no problem asking a girl to help me with math if I needed the help, or anything like that. You know, I used to know a girl that used to beat me at chess. It was frustrating as hell, but you know,
And see, that's I guess you could say that I'm one of those, well, I am a strong woman.
oh,
Um,
I know. I gather that.
but there are times where it is called for me to be, I guess, um, more feminine, more the pretty princess compared to the tomboy.
Well, well, and obviously, I mean, you're in a partnership, and I think we all know that there's no way Mr. Nicky is going to be able to play the pretty one.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
No, I mean, well, sure, any woman would have her feminine side. I would certainly want that in a woman. But yeah, it's like I just yeah, the deal
Yeah,
of that the woman is totally, always going to be subservient. And I I have known very intelligent women who they're like, it's basically like, you know, I think this makes sense, and let me get my husband's opinion. And I'm like, why? It's like it has nothing to do with him, but somehow, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example because
no,
obviously there's times you would ask,
yeah,
Mr. Nicky's opinion on things, but I mean, if you're just trying to decide what you should have for lunch, you're not going to call him up and say, should I have the burger or the lobster?
right, right, yeah, and it's those women who kind of make you wonder, are they actually maybe too intelligent? Yeah, they're book smart, but not common sense smart.
Well, I've certainly known that too. Um, yeah, I've known some very intelligent airheads. But yeah, but then there are some who really are just, I don't know. I think they never really learned to think for themselves. It's probably the way they grew up, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I, and I'm sure, yeah, hey, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that have very happy marriages that way, and women who are happy to live that kind of life. And of course, I always have to mention I am an expert on marriage, being a lifelong bachelor.
I I can't say much. I don't think
Hmm.
actually anybody is an expert on marriage. We may be an expert on ourselves and what we will allow and put up with, but I don't think really that there's an expert on any relationship.
Yeah, every relationship operates a little differently. Yeah. I, I will, I used to. Nobody has asked me in the, last century or so, but people used to ask me why I didn't get married and would I get married. And I always said my problem was I had impossibly high standards. I could never see myself marrying a woman who would settle for me. Hey, Specs, there's my buddy Specs. Specs is going to be doing one of our podcasts. We just have to get together on a time and so forth. Uh, she doesn't seem to think so, but I think she has an interesting story to tell.
Well, and I mean, you guys have a great idea, and that is actually, I think, going to be your stumbling block is finding people who believe that their stories are interesting or would be interesting to, the the masses. A lot of people, and I'm one of them. I'll be honest, I'm one of them. You know, I was born, I went to school, I grew up, I had kids, and now I've got grandkids, and that's my life. That's boring. But other people may go, but what did you learn? How did you learn it? Why why do you know why did your husband fall in love with you? And I just tell him that's because he's stupid. But it's actually that's going to be the stumbling block because humans always think, well, my story's boring. Why would I want to tell anybody else? Um, yeah, specs. Hard to feel that your own story is interesting.
But as a matter of fact, we had this conversation when we were saying about, everybody has a story. And I said, I don't really. The few things I think that have happened in my life that would be of interest to other people, I've already done videos on them. They're way back when I first started doing this, you know. But yeah, I'm like you. I feel like, hey, I grew up in a fairly normal household. I went to school, I went to work. What's to talk about? You know?
Right, right. But then, just even from just sitting here talking with you and listening and everything, it's like, well, I know you worked in the library. Um, to to me, I could come up with, you know, um, what kind of technological changes have you seen during your career? You probably started out like with the card catalog and the microfiche and all of that, and then at the end of your career it was going into the computers and Google and the information right at your fingertips. You didn't have to actually hunt for it. That to me would be something that you probably are like, "Oh, well, that just was part of the job." But to me, that would be something that I would like to, hear about.
You you pretty much nailed my library career right there. When I first started there, it was card catalog and microfiche. I actually was the one who bought our first computer. You know, yeah. Well, that's one of those things. I mean, that's sort of a thing that I just find interesting about for myself as an objective thing in my life is that, and I know you're like 20 years older than me, so you don't understand this, but, I think about things like how I grew up. Pretty much everybody had one telephone in their house, probably nailed to their kitchen wall, and it had a really long cord on it. And, it was the old tick, 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 tick phones.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got our first color TV when I was in ninth grade, you know, and now, of course, everybody carries their phone in their pocket, which is also a movie camera and a still camera that is better than the movie cameras they were making films with, like at least in the 50s, probably later. You can call all over the world. And yeah, so just that kind of thing with technology in general is interesting, but I don't feel like it's an interesting story for me to tell because so many of us have gone through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
But
that's like a conversation of old people sitting around talking about and boring grandchildren with.
exactly. But I'm the type of person, I always have been. Um, I was the one who would sit and ask grandma, what was it like when you had to cross the prairies, in the covered wagon, since I'm
Yeah,
20 years older than you.
yeah, we kind of have that in common. I used to sit there to, when we first moved to Pennsylvania, we moved into my mother's homestead, and I would do the same thing. I would like sit there at night, and I would like ask grandma what it was like, when she was a kid, and my family would say, "Would you shut up already? Grandma's been dead for 10 years." I I never knew any of my grandparents.
Well, I only had my dad's mom, and that was my grandma, and she actually grew up in Detroit, well, Detroit, Dearborn area. Um, so I got to hear the stories of watching the Ford Model A's and Model T's, maybe not the Model T's, I don't remember, but the Ford cars, you know, coming off the assembly line and, how that was exciting back then. And it's like, then you think about it and you put it in today's world and you really don't get to ask people anymore, like, um, what's it like when a Caterpillar tractor comes off the assembly line and gets loaded up on the rail cars to go wherever, and depending on where they lived would depend on what kind of questions you could ask.
You know what would be a great idea? if somebody would set up a channel that was devoted to people telling their stories. I'll tell you,
Maybe you should
I
do
wish
that.
I wish I'd have listened to my mother's stories much more, but it was always like, I don't want to hear about this again. I also wish I'd have paid attention to some of the things she cooked. I'd love to be able to make her macaroni and cheese.
Oh, you
Mm,
mean so it doesn't come out of a box?
yeah, I hate that stuff. And she just had certain tricks to that stuff that I never learned. I can make her potato salad and chocolate chip cookies, though. Two of the things she was known for. Oh, or I'll tell you a story about my mother and her chocolate chip cookies. That's something that whenever we were doing, any kind of a thing where a bunch of us were getting together, and usually whoever's hosting, they're making the main dish, whatever it is, and someone else will say, "I'll make macaroni salad. I'll bring this." And one of the things that they'd always say about my mother bringing, oh, she could bring her chocolate chip cookies. She makes the best chocolate chip cookies. I don't know how she does it. And she wasn't one of those people who was afraid to share her recipes. I have known people like that who will purposely leave things out of a recipe. Because her famous chocolate chip cookies that nobody else could figure out how to make, the recipe came off the side of a Jello pudding box. It was just you used instant pudding, for half of the sugar, and it's like she had a couple things like that people would say she makes the best of that, and it's like, well, yeah, she buys the can, and anyway.
Oh, and Sarge is here now, so we
Yeah,
we
we
can.
we both can leave. Look at him thinking he looks all good with his brand new haircut and all that.
I was gonna ask if he had gotten a haircut or if he was just styling it a little bit different.
I don't know, but is he purposely trying to annoy us with the keyboard because he said he didn't have that noise anymore?
You can hear it?
Oh
Yeah,
my
we can
God,
hear it.
yes. You sound like you're rage typing.
Which microphone is let me see if I go to audio.
Well, I would tell you, but I think you should figure it out on your own.
I'm using the right microphone. What the hell?
Check. Maybe you have both of them on? That's
Or
not
do
what I
you
wanted to
have
click
like your phone on YouTube sitting there?
No.
Because I just heard an echo too.
Okay. You remember that early on, Muck, we were talking about Chicago pizza versus New York
New
style
York?
pizza.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and
What was
somebody came in and mentioned it was like Kansas City or some other pizza.
Detroit.
And we were saying,
Detroit.
oh my God, that sounds good. Yeah. Okay. That's not what I wanted. I mean, just for no particular reason other than people should remember.
You're fired.
Lest we forget.
Yeah.
So I was telling people, I imagine you didn't hear anything early on, but this was one of those very rare occasions where I came in with a specific subject that we discussed. Of course, since then, Nikki's made us talk about bees and how her lazy husband doesn't do anything around the house, but that's okay.
CYS on steroids Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay, I'll take the hint. You're saying Detroit pizza to me.
Oh no, 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 not at all.
I'm
No.
just teasing.
Yeah, I don't even remember what he said, what they did with it, but I remember we were both like, "Oh my God, that sounds so good."
Uh, when Muck and I and Ariel and Killing Time started this, we were trying to do a 24/7 thing, and one night I can't remember the guy's name, but we had a couple clowns on, and every time he tried to push his narrative, we just talked about pizza, pineapple pizza, Chicago pizza, and somehow we delved into Detroit pizza. So that's gonna. I'm tired of the childish shit, you know.
Yeah. Detroit pizza is actually a Sicilian style pizza, and
Right.
it's rectangle. You're rectangular, not in a
Yeah.
circle. And
I
it's
didn't. I can't remember the details, but I
There was
remember how
something
we.
though. There was some kind of layering thing or something that he was talking about.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
more it's the crust is more of a deep crust.
Yeah.
Whereas New York pizza is that paper thin crust that you can fold and everything.
Hmm.
And Chicago pizza
Yeah, that's
is
the
made
deep
like a
dish.
pie,
Yeah,
but the crust isn't as thick. The bread is not as thick as the Detroit style pizza.
as far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as a bad pizza unless it's those people who put pineapple on it.
Or that ham they call Canadian bacon.
Yeah. By the way, Earl, you know I hate any sport located in Massachusetts. I just had to do that.
All right. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just I'm catching up on my comments from today.
This is Sarge logic. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not paying any attention.
Yeah, basically. I'm not trying to be rude. I just naturally am rude.
There you go.
He's multitasking is what he's doing.
Multitasking, yes.
And we've already decided that he can't multitask because I remember one night that he was trying to fix servers because of the crowd strike, and he was trying to type in Teams, but he
That's
kept
right.
typing what we were saying.
Oh. Oh.
It was like what you need to do is delete file hello Nikki.
Uh-huh.
My brain definitely was not between the fever, the busyness of CrowdStrike, the drama on YouTube. I was just like, I could no longer channel it all correctly.
I, I had forgot about that. Yeah.
It was a pretty busy weekend.
By the
Um,
way, also an interesting thing about tonight is I came in around 6 o'clock planning to do a 1 hour show.
Yeah.
you closed it out.
I'm not going down the drama route, but I've already answered this person. But as I'm going through comments, I'm reminded I have no idea who Sui Roxy is, but in no way, shape, or form have we ever slammed, dunked on, insulted, felt put out by Dirty Hippie. Maybe some people are just associating groups and teams, and I don't know. But that's all I'm going to say
Well,
about that. That's
well, I will because once again, as I have told you, I did take two psychology classes in college about 130 years ago, so I am an expert. And there is a term for that that has to do with groupthink, and the term is people is stupid.
Oh, I bet you're going to say mob mentality or something like that. Yeah, basically. Stupid or just not really paying attention. I'm starting to realize more and more that chats, no offense, chat, Howard, Ariel, Kusa.
We're talking about stupid people. Right off you go for Howard and Ariel. Way to not be offensive.
I'm not talking about stupid
Remember,
people.
Nikki, remember what a good show me and you had?
I I don't know if it was good or not, but it
Yeah.
wasn't interesting to me, but we were keeping Chad entertained.
Well, yeah. Sometimes
Anyway,
panels do stuff to entertain the chat, the audience. Sometimes we get involved in our own conversations and we don't even notice what they're talking about. And sometimes, and I've been in chats on other channels, sometimes we get involved in our own conversation in chat and we're not really paying attention to what the panel or the show is. We just start paying attention to what people are saying in the chat. So people come out of this long, detailed description of how we may be mad at one person and not another, or maybe reacting to one person. They get their own conversation going. They're not really hearing us. And they think, oh, you hate dirty hippie. I'm like, where in the fuck do you get that? And I think that kind of thing is what's going on. They're bouncing things off each other in the chat while we're talking, and they don't even hear us. Like, you know, put a 2 in the chat if you understood what I just said.
Okay, I'll
I-
put a 1.
I thought I summed it up with people as stupid, but
Oh, I'm not really stupid, just multitasking. Like when I was reading that comment, I probably didn't register anything the 2 of you said. And how long is the delay tonight? 7 seconds?
well, you never can tell. But yeah, I will say that, and it's just
10 people in the chat, one person put a 2, and it's really not really the 2 that I was talking about. They're not listening.
it it really has been less than a week, and that's is all I'm going to say about it because I'm ready to pretty much move on. But yeah, nobody has said anything bad about Dirty Hippie.
Well, nobody here.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
don't-
Old guy Mitch is listening.
Well, actually,
Well,
Mitch was just holding up his hand that he had to go to the restroom like they used to do in school. Teacher, number two. I'm sorry, Nikki. Go ahead.
um, I'm just trying to understand how Dirty Hippie even got brought into anything. I didn't think it had
No,
anything to do with Dirty Hippie.
it didn't. Nothing. It's just people like to, stir pots that don't need stirred.
I don't know if they're stirring pots or they're just narrow-mindedly associating things that aren't. Generally Specific does it all the time. He's called me and Muckster F3. We're not F3. He's called, well, you watch a Kaiser chat. They're not talking about what Kaiser's talking about,
If you're gonna bring up Generally Specific and Kaiser, we're back to my theory of people stupid.
Not necessarily are they stupid, but
Yeah.
maybe they get sucked in, and by the time they try to realize that they got sucked in, then it's too late to separate.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
If you want to know, I mean, I said I'm not talking about this anymore. But if you really want to know the problem with, if you want to know the problem with F3, it's right over there in chat.
Oh, the word 2, not the number 2. 5. Ariel, you're on it, Master.
It's that Master Sergeant guy. He's a real rabble rouser. He's out there looking for rabble wherever he can find them, and then he rouses them.
That might be too. Different people might have different delays. I test it sometimes. I'll say something. I'll look at my TV, and that's 7 seconds. It may be different for other people, so they're actually reacting to different things at different times.
I have at various times. I will time it. I will go on to the. I'll go on to the YouTube side, and I'll say something, and I will time how long it takes to hear it in YouTube. And I've had it go anywhere from like 5 to close to 20 seconds at times.
Yeah.
I have that constantly. With Mr. Nicky being here because he's watching on his laptop while I'm, on panel or whatever. And it's like that's why a lot of times it seems like I'm stuttering or stammering, but it's because I'm hearing what I'm already saying
Yeah.
and, doing things like that. So, but yeah, the delay is there. And it does vary depending on what panel.
Sarge is doing a scientific experiment here. Ooh, it was over 10. And there's Izzy, speaking of pot stirrers.
People look and create unnecessary drama. Well, yeah, it's YouTube. Well, I can't even blame YouTube. A lot of people actually make drama up because it's more exciting for them. I have what I thought was a very mature, intelligent, highbrow church. Our church is going through some drama right now, and I just came back from Holly's, and she was updated because she's on this certain committee. As she's telling me, I'm like, gosh, this sounds just like YouTube. I'm like,
that has always amazed me. Well, sort of, but I mean, because I hold churches in the highest regard. But how a place like a church will have the same sort of petty politics and stuff, and it's like, do people remember what you're supposed to be here for?
Another big one, another huge one are the service committees for Alcoholic Anonymous regions. What do you call them? GSR meetings, group service representatives. Each group will elect a member of that group to represent them in his GSR meetings. And oh my God, the most childish arguments and politicizing and this group and that is like it's very anti AA 12 tradition, not steps tradition. It's just like these are mature adults that are working the steps, or yeah. So it's not just YouTube, but it is mob mentality. It is groupthink. It is.
I can tell you, on that whole thing, when you're supposed to have like a common goal, that's what your organization's all about and stuff. Just a week ago, I had a committee meeting with my group, and we have important things to discuss. I won't go into them, but they are basically having to do with society as a whole, and yet the whole thing just became about, should we have stripes on our white robes or not? And do you need to have your eye holes in the hood, even? It's I mean, we had more important things than that to talk about. I'm trying.
Gotcha. You're fired.
Here's something that says battle.
Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. There's 2 Mucksters in the basement. Oh, okay. That was confusing. Okay, is Ariel doing Mexican Common Core math again? What's Ariel doing? Ariel.
Well, less
negative
than
zero. Negative 0.
He had posted the ball game score a little bit ago.
Something 4-3. Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees were down by 1 by the ever beloved Red Sox. That bastard should go.
When you know fucks to give, you can rise above the BS and enjoy their stupidity. Oh, look, old guy Mitch is copying everything I say. The Vigilance Committee, Cliff Williams. Muckster, what state was that story in?
It is Pennsylvania. Yes.
Well, a lot of those in Pennsylvania.
I can tell you, I had a hard time finding anybody else that was covering the story.
Oh,
They came in and they took a 12-hour-old baby. CYS came in. I told you we'd started off with a particular subject.
oh yeah, CYS on steroids Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. What does that mean? What was the topic 2 hours and 5 minutes ago?
Well, this couple had a baby, and because they said they had a religious, what's the word I want? Not exemption, but their religion is against taking blood, and they wouldn't
Oh,
let them draw blood. And CYS came in, which in Pennsylvania, which is the state we're talking about,
okay, child services. Okay.
for Cliff's purposes. That's what we call it. That's what they call here, Child and Youth Services. They decided that they were unfit parents, and they came in and took the baby, and the people had to go to court. And at first, it sounded like the judge was reasonable when CYS tried to talk about they'd had some kind of contact with the people's other 5 children, but the other 5 children are in the home, and nobody made any comments about the other 5 children in any way being endangered. And the judge said that was irrelevant. But then the judge still gave CYS custody of the baby, and it wasn't until the father went to a federal court and was threatening them with a civil rights trial that, I'm mixing my words up. But then CYS said, oh, okay, we'll let you have your baby back if you will let us do a home inspection. And the baby, and by the way, CYS also lied and said that mother would not consent to any sort of prenatal exams and would not allow this and would not. And she had the hospital fax the records that showed she had had prenatal and the baby had had various tests. They just were against certain things that and the government decided that they were going to be the parent. And as I said, I may personally agree with the parents on some stuff because I believe in following doctors' recommendations, but I certainly don't agree in the government making that decision for the parents. So yeah, that is the subject we started off with.
Okay, it's that's a tough one. I think I share your opinions, but people throw that back on me when I also share that I'm all for mandatory vaccinations for public schools.
Yeah.
That does sound hypocritical, but before kids are enrolled in public schools, parents start out on a path, be it based on religion or moral beliefs. As long as they're not harming other people. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Cliff, if you want to know everything I know about it, Cliff, I did a video today on my channel. It's not on Sarge's channel like what we do with our lives. If you go to my channel, and you'll see it was today. It'll say something about today's news. And I think if you fast forward to it was like the 3 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that, you'll get to the part where I read that article and you'll get whatever information I have.
Oh, shit. I lost track of time today. I was going to get the Washington Post for today and cut because it's Friday. I got to do this on a Friday and come up on stream reading the local news. Remember, you do that you were doing. I guess you're still doing Fridays, right? You read
Yeah. Well, that's what day the weekly paper comes out.
The thriving metropolis of whatever town that is. It's the next town over, 2 towns over, isn't it?
It's next town over. The paper actually comes out of the town where my high school is.
Oh, they had high school when you're that age?
Yeah, well, I wasn't allowed to go. Of course, I had to work in the mines with the other, 12-year-olds.
Yeah, okay.
It was only the fancy, rich Irish kids that got to, because their parents owned the mines.
Wait a minute. I thought it was the Irish kids that were in the mines. I might have.
No, it was weird around here. When I was a kid, okay, because as you know, I am a recovering Catholic. When I was a kid, it's a small town, but we had two Catholic churches. And the one I went to, everybody referred to as the Polish church because it's where all the honkies went. As opposed to up on the hill where you had another sort of Catholic church, which is Russian Orthodox. Okay. But the one referred to as Polish church was still Roman Catholic.
Right.
And the other, there was a bigger church there, which we ended up going to because they closed the little Polish one when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, people used to call it the Irish church because that was the church that all the Dugans and stuff went to. And they actually were the landowners around here whenever all these people came in from Eastern Europe around the turn of the century. So there's a little history for you. Yeah, it was kind of weird around here that there was the Irish who owned the mines, and in other places it was the Irish who were fighting for the right to have unions.
What did I say that made Ariel respond that I'm crazy?
Oh, I don't think you really had to say anything to make it.
I got you. Who are the Yanks playing, Ariel? What's the other team?
The much hated Red Sox.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's a big rivalry, isn't it? Well,
probably certainly the oldest rivalry in professional baseball.
Oh,
you couldn't say the oldest in sports or even American sports, because I imagine that would be something like, Harvard, Yale, or something. Army, Navy.
Oh, when I was getting my hair cut. This guy walks in with a Navy hat and a Navy shirt, and the hat said "Go Navy." I had a class year. I don't remember the year, but I said, "Bob, go Navy." He says, "Beat Army." And he says, "How long were you in the Navy?" I said, "Less than half the time I was in the Army." And I explained to him, I get to play both sides depending on who my audience is.
The oldest sports rivalry in America is actually between two high schools.
Oh.
Norwich Free Academy and New London High School, and it began in 1875.
I really wish you hadn't said that. Because you mentioned Connecticut, and Ariel's ears pop up and go, "Oh yeah, see, that's another thing Connecticut has that the rest of you don't."
Nikki, the one you just referenced, is that in New York?
Norwich and New London are both in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Oh, because you said Norwich Free Academy. The only place I'd heard of a high school being called a free academy was in upstate New York. I was like,
and one of them is actually Ariel's high school.
Oh,
I'm thinking. Aren't they across the bay from each other or something, Ariel? Okay, what is the date? I'm hearing fireworks. What is it with these people around
26, 2024.
So that's more than 20 days past the 4th of July.
Ariel is rooting for the Whalers. That's a Connecticut thing, isn't it? At least from my West Wing fiction, I think. Characters bring to character Josh Lineman that representatives from the state of, I think, North Carolina and Connecticut were arguing about a copy of the Bill of Rights from during the Civil War. And he says something about Connecticut. Like, "You're from Connecticut?" He says, "Go Whalers." I'm like, I guess you have to be from Connecticut to know what that means. Go Whalers.
So the New London High School was Ariel's alma mater, as we say in the biz.
Yeah, we do have a New London in upstate New York. However, they don't have their own high school. They're relatively small. But we actually have a Camden, New York, too. And they do have a high school, but it's not much of a high school.
We have a Philadelphia in Pennsylvania.
Mm. Philadelphia. And
Hello,
Smyrna.
Cap.
How are you doing, Cap? Philadelphia and Smyrna are two cities in the first century AD in what we now call Turkey. At the time it was called Asia Minor. And some fellow named John wrote them a letter and called them the Synagogue of Satan. But they were actually early Christian churches. And a YouTube character we're all familiar with keeps claiming that they're Jews. Jews in Turkey practicing Christianity.
Smyrna was Turkey. I always thought Smyrna was Greece.
I
Um,
thought Smyrna was Greece. Well,
Geog-
I guess back then
geography,
Greece would be part of Turkey.
yeah, geography was never my thing.
I'm very good at geography. In fact, my land navigation skills are so good that when I went out for my land navigation EIB test in South Korea, I went 180 degrees in the wrong direction.
Well, if you're gonna be wrong, you might as well be really wrong.
I was really
Ariel, what are you doing coming up here naked?
naked.
Yeah, man, these bastards just hit a home run. I hate the Red Sox. They're still
my.
losing.
Okay, I just looked it up because I had to find out.
Mhm.
Smyrna was an ancient Greek city
Oh,
located on the Aegean coast of Anatolia.
don't know.
But the Turkish did capture Smyrna.
Okay.
Was it
So
before 98 AD?
no, it was way
Oh.
after.
96, 98, okay. Oh, the letters that this John the Revealer wrote were to Christian churches, and Philadelphia was the main one, but the other one was, I thought it was Smyrna. My memory's off. I don't remember. Ariel, what's new? So who are the Yankees?
Okay, so New London is a whaling city. So go Whalers. The New London High School mascot is the Whalers. Is a whaler.
Oh,
Norwich Free Academy's NFA Wildcats. They've been playing for over 100 years, and they only play on Thanksgiving Day though, because they're different.
Leagues or whatever.
Yeah, it's different division or whatever you call it.
Divisions, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my kids went to NFA, but I went to New London High School.
who's beating the Yankees right now?
Nobody. Yankees are winning 7-6.
Oh, good.
Who's about to beat the Yankees when it turns over?
Boston, because the Yankees have been sucking, man. They got whooped the other day by the Mets, like 13 of whatever, 3
My
or
brain's
4.
not functioning. Somebody already answered that, and I'd already forgotten it. Boston.
Hello, Double D.
But yeah, that rivalry has been going on for a long time.
The Yankees-Boston thing?
No, the high school, the football.
Oh,
That's the longest rivalry in the United States as far as sports.
You steal each other's mascots and
Yeah, something like that.
okay.
They're a much bigger school. As far as I think they have more students, way more. I'm trying to think of how that school is run. It's a public school, but it's not a public school, I guess. The Free Academy, because they do have a technical school there. They do have a high school, and then they have NFA, which most of the kids go to.
I went to Rome Free Academy, and about a half of an hour away was Utica Free Academy. Interesting. I dropped out of RFA and took my GED at UFA.
And that is the town of Norwich is Benedict Arnold's town. That's where he's from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they burned all the city halls and stuff. They didn't burn that one because that was his time.
Benedict Arnold. If I remember correctly, he had a little grudge against his chain of command.
I don't know.
Does seem like I remember there was something where I think he was mad that they chose Washington or somebody was promoted over him. And that's when he decided, you know what, I think I actually like the British.
I told you there's a church on a hill over there where they used to meet on. There's a sign over there where they used to meet at all the time. All those guys.
Apparently, they teach magnetism there. So it's a tech school. They teach all about magnets and electric motors and gyro compasses and stuff like that.
Now, can I just point out to Nikki, if you look, you'll see that Izzy spent all day harvesting fruits and vegetables like a woman should.
And she trimmed and cleaned up around the homestead. So that means that she did the wonderful chore of weeding. Literally touching grass.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and I plan on going out and doing that tomorrow.
And Mitch yells that he spent the day cutting grass, which I'm imagining he touched some of it. Red hand peace signs. No fear.
Only time Mitch touches grass is when it goes into his, his smoking device.
That is often referred to as grass, correct?
Yeah.
Izzy, hopefully you didn't record touching grass. I believe. Did I? Maybe not. Yes. Nope. Well, if I did, someone deleted it. All right. Yep, it's gone. Okay.
Which one?
All right. So
I'd
Eric,
want me touching grass.
who's gonna play the Astros for the World Series?
Why, the Astros are going to the World Series? They're only halfway through.
It don't matter.
I have no idea who's going to play them. Let's say the Orioles.
All right. Cliff is asking.
I'm not going to say it's going to be the Yankees because they're playing horrible.
Proof of what, Cliff? No, I had a drop of me nervously putting my finger closer and closer to a blade of grass, and when I finally touched it, I didn't drop over and die or anything. Oh, this is not so bad, but I guess Muckster deleted it so he could put his kaboom or something in there. I don't know.
Well, my stuff is usually more interesting.
You think so? Yeah. English motherfucker, it's a trap. Are you insane? God bless you. Handle the truth. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh my.
They deleted it. Them subversives.
Does anybody really think that Sarge can come up with funnier stuff than me?
No.
That's kind of what I thought.
Okay. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
I can't look at this damn phone. I can't see nothing.
What?
I'm trying to read. I can't even read the chat. So.
I was expecting someone to say, "No, you can't." Yes, I can. No, you can't.
I can't see it. But anyways.
Speaking of videos,
I enjoyed the games for what they are. I just watch them. I don't take them serious. If my team wins, they won. If they don't, I don't give a shit.
I'm sorry, you're not feeling good. I hope you're feeling better. I'm sorry.
Me?
No, some in the chat, double D's. You knew it would coming, double D was. You see, when you're yelling, you have typos. It's got calm down and stop yelling. I'm sorry. I've been accused of neglecting the chat, so I'm trying a little harder. And now that I'm doing it, I'm talking over you guys, so I apologize. Dang, okay, it's dark out here, but I'll show you proof tomorrow. What are we proving? That you cut grass? Which Sarge? Or Sarg? Is there more than one Sarge?
Yeah, there's the one that's in your mind, and then there's the one that we all know.
Oh, okay. The one up here, the super stud muffin war hero with a rack this long versus the guy that has okay, gotcha. All right.
From what I gathered from the whole proof thing and stuff is, for some reason, people said Izzy has to prove that she harvested her vegetables. I'm not quite sure if that's what was going on, because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yes, that's what's going on. Proving that she touched grass because, because of little man syndrome. Or wait.
Oh, no.
Little feet syndrome.
I saw a couple of videos today. In fact, she has to harvest quickly and early because those four-legged large rodents they call deer, they're going to eat. What'd she say? Watermelon? Are you the one who ate the watermelon? Like, I didn't know deer eat watermelon, but apparently Cliff was teasing. Okay.
They will eat any vegetation. That's why in civilized states we shoot the bastards.
Oh man,
I've seen deer up on their hind legs, eating leaves off of a tree.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. Seemed like somewhere I saw a deer hung by its hind legs.
I've seen
that. That was in Pennsylvania.
Deer don't eat lavender. They don't like the smell of it.
Yeah, a lot of animals don't like it. That's why I put it out around my garden sometimes.
And marigolds.
I can't remember where we went. Ollie and I went somewhere, and one of our pit stops was a lavender farm, and they had a little gift shop. They sold everything of lavender coffee, lavender squeeze balls, just lavender tea. It was like, I've determined although lavender smells good and it might have soothing effects and their essential oils and stuff, it does not go good in edibles, drinkables, coffee, tea, stuff like that. It's like,
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's horrible. They love watermelon, keeps them from getting close to gators. I think we're talking about deer. If they eat watermelon, they don't get close to gators. Yeah. Oh, because they get their hydration. I gotcha. Chickens love marigolds. Don't plant them. Oh,
chickens love anything green.
I will take your word for it, and I will not plant chickens.
Well, how else are you going to harvest eggs?
Go to the store, get a dozen.
Yeah, you go to the store and harvest them. That's what I was going to say.
I can do it.
Everybody wants to go green, and get an electric car. Yeah, where does electricity come from? Oh, you plug it into your wall and you get it. Well, they use other fuels to make electricity too. So
okay.
Oh, you mean it doesn't just come from those giant windmills?
No, those are
the
garbage.
Solar panels?
More garbage, yeah.
Oh, then it comes from the dinosaur bones that have...
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yep. They can dig down to 30,000 feet and find oil, right? But the dinosaurs stopped at 15, so I guess the stuff from the bone seeps down another 15,000 feet before you find it. But just saying.
Yeah, that's what most people believe.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, let's not do the guy that's in jail forever song.
He's in jail forever. This the guy who sang that? It wasn't
Oh,
like.
do you not know? Do you not know who R. Kelly is?
Oh, I thought
who sang that?
I thought Michael Jordan sang it.
No, it's in the movie.
Yeah,
It's in the movie Space Jam. Yeah.
He had somebody sing for him. Okay. There was a soldier in Lewis and Clark expedition who never drank water. Oh, how do you hydrate? Coca-Cola, Sprite,
Beer.
beer. Oh, I heard that German monks used to drink beer during their fasts. Wow,
It's liquid.
Wow.
The thing Cliff didn't tell you about that soldier was he died before they got out of New York.
All right. Okay. Oh, wait. I have to do this. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
I think he forgot he left his camera on and we can all see his facial expression.
I'm trying to figure out how to get. Nope. Okay. All right. I have to email it to myself. Ooh, I haven't looked at email in a while. No.
Oh, by the way, Ariel, remember that day when we were obsessing over like what our names should say when we're doing podcasts and stuff? I realized today.
I already heard what you said.
I don't know what you just said.
I heard what you said earlier. Host and guest.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember saying it.
Yeah, I actually.
I don't think I would label them guests, but yeah, like I'm going to go with host on Sunday.
You said guest, but yeah.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm considering us. Yeah, host and guest, and I mean, because people might not know her name since it's only going to be on a great big billboard behind her.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Nikki said she thought the whole idea is stupid.
No.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Nikki. That's a good idea. That it's stupid.
No. I asked if it was going to be like an interview type, but Izzy has a weird looking tomato.
She's emailing a weird tomato to Sarge. I don't know what kind of email she has that does that.
How does that go through the internets?
I don't know.
Well, maybe it's just a picture, and then he can 3D print it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea. When Sarge buys us all our new computers, we should get 3D printers.
Hey, yeah, that's a great idea. And thanks for bringing that up, Nikki. Sarge, get on that. But have y'all heard about man going to Mars that way?
Going which way? I'd go to Mars.
What Nikki was just talking about, like they're gonna just like fly a ship with your DNA or something on there, and then they're just gonna print you out. You feel what I'm saying? They're gonna make a person. I'm serious. They talk about that stuff.
Would I remember that?
No. Have you heard about that?
I haven't heard about it. No, but it makes kind of sense in the science fiction.
I mean, yeah, as far as traveling that whole long distance and getting there. You know, you don't have to really have a live person on there to do that. Now, how's the printing and all that going to go? I have no idea.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How are they going to know that the printer is programmed correctly?
I have no idea, Nikki. It's just things that I look at and read, and I just find them interesting. Obviously, they're doing something. If they're talking about it, they're doing something. So.
Oh. Okay. There is an email, according to Izzy. And I'm going to pull up the contents of the email. And peripherally, I think someone just said this a few minutes ago, but I guess you're reading the chat. And my computer's slow. And there is... That is not a tomato. Is that a tomato? I guess I have to share with you folks.
You can't see it. Yeah.
This is a... This tomatoes is deformed as Todd's feet. What is going on with that, mate? It looks like an acorn and a green pepper glued together.
Or a gourd. That's a tomato gourd.
That's a GMO tomato right there.
You know what that is? That's one of them. They're Iraqi and.
That's tomatoes. What it is. Yeah.
I was thinking this is the one that she didn't plant. Her husband planted. She says, when you want it done right, a woman's got to do it. But that's an interesting tomato.
We don't have tomatoes over here. We got maters.
On the other hand,
says it's a tomatillo.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's gonna grow the leaves around the tomato. Yes, it like covers the whole tomato, and then you open it up.
Cliff, see,
tomatillo. Yeah.
All right. You're not supposed to send egg pictures, people. Oh, okay. No, that's not that. That is a strange looking fellow there. Just for today, since he's obsessed with other men. Oh, wait a minute. Who? All right. Yeah. It looks weird. I'm just reading emails.
are you new here? Fink always looks weird.
You're fired.
Well, he did get his haircut, so
just wait till I get my severance pay. How many months back are we now, Ariel?
January. 7 months. We've been doing this 7 months. Oh,
that's a lot of computers.
It is. So at least a couple.
Second, what's his name? Wrangler said I'd been doing this for years. I'm like, no, I started streaming in around January, wasn't it? Oh.
I think so.
It was too cold to go out there with a camera. That's why I started streaming.
Right. Well, somebody started up a channel or something.
Is that what that beep, beep, beep means?
Where's my phone at? I don't even know. I got my phone in my hand, but my other phone.
Oh, really? I got to be on shift in an hour? Oh,
yeah. Good night for another cloud strike.
Yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Hey, where's my
he
song?
needs to take his nap tonight, he looks like.
It's definitely a nap night. Let's take a peek at what's going on in work now so I know what I'm... Do I want to call in sick or do I want to go ahead and log on so I can sleep on shift?
Well, you don't look good. But that's always true.
Yeah. All right. We have. Nope. And we have.
By
Okay.
the way, Cliff, people tend to become obsessed with things they don't have.
What is it that Cliff wants that he doesn't have?
Not
No,
Cliff. Cliff has what somebody else wants.
Oh. What is that? Izzy, I was wondering if anyone else noticed the obsession. What am I missing? What is and why is that? Yeah, I'm missing something. What am I missing?
Your
I don't know.
picture.
Oh, you want my picture?
The picture that you showed.
Oh, the funny tomato.
Yes.
All right, where did I put it?
And it was planted just for someone because that
Oh.
someone is obsessed with something that, according to Muckster, he doesn't have.
I am tracking. I'm slow, and I am tracking. All right. Oh, I got to bring it up on stage. Okay. VCCW's Beyond Obsession. Very creepy. That's a creepy tomato.
Okay, it's all tied up now. Bastards.
Izzy, you should send this to the YouTube channel, The Raging Tomato. I'll bet they could do something with this, with their Raging Tomato thing. And, Muxie, you don't think I look like Raging Tomato with the bangs?
yes.
I
I don't know how you could even think that.
Yeah.
You part your hair to opposite sides of each other.
Well, it's actually a mirror shot. So
Yeah, it was a mirror shot. Yeah, we're like practically twins.
yeah.
I don't know how much they would pay. Actually, I think that's not a they channel. That's a she channel, just one individual. Sarah the Raging Tomato. Of course, she's supported by her.
Okay, I just
much
caught
they
on.
pay?
I just caught on to the game.
Okay,
It's been nice knowing you guys.
what happened?
Izzy said that photograph is copyrighted. You see what it is? She is a double agent for Toddler. She just made you show a copyrighted photograph, and now she's going to get us taken down. Way to go, Sarge! You fell for her trap. It's the oldest camel spider trap in the world.
Can't. Oh, okay. All right.
All
This
right,
is
guys, I'm gonna bounce. My team's losing now.
This is me
Oh,
after losing my
it's
YouTube
Sergeant
channel.
Okay, Ariel.
I'll holler at y'all.
Hey, Ariel. In case I haven't mentioned it, we have a show 1 o'clock Sunday. Be there by 12:45.
Yeah, it's about how many hours? More than 24 hours. And tomorrow is boxing night, so
Well,
Izzy, I think it's just a joke. I've actually never seen her rage.
yeah, I'll be there.
anyway, try talking tomorrow.
1 p.m.
Yeah, man.
Sunday Eastern time.
All right, have a good night. Bye,
Okay.
Nikki.
Nikki is
Bye,
so rude.
everyone.
Bye, Ariel. I had to unmute myself because
You're okay. You're okay. It's not a problem. Have a good night.
All right.
Is he ever going to actually leave? Okay, that's better.
No. He's not going to actually leave.
Mitch, that's funny.
If if it wasn't that Nikki's already tied up with those vigilance committee people, she would have been a good candidate for your seat.
Well,
For whose?
Sarge, we've been looking for a
No.
replacement.
You want to
No,
replace me?
I can never replace such an intelligent, good-looking, wonderful man. Any one of you that are on this panel, I cannot replace. Sorry.
You can replace
Well,
Muckster.
I knew it about me.
Mm. Oh,
Yeah. I think NMAC would look funny anyhow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Cliff is saying that you can't have me.
No.
I guess I guess Mank would work. MANK, would that work?
Mank?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, not really, huh?
no.
Yeah.
Well.
All right, Nikki, you're
But-
out. You
but-
can stay over there where they don't appreciate you.
But Knack could work and just have the M silent. MNAK?
MNAK. Oh, I see. Well, the N would be silent. Well, I don't know.
This is a hurtful speech for me to listen to, so I'm going to take the rest of the night off.
Yeah.
And I'm
There you
going to
go.
rage
There he
quit.
goes, rage quitting
I'm
again.
going to rage quit. Here we go. Rage
It
quit.
wasn't hurtful. I said you were smart and intelligent and warm and
Yeah, but
studly.
everybody could hear the sarcasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we
Okay.
don't want you to rage quit. Don't rage quit. Oh, hey, my thing didn't work. Well, I've been having trouble getting my mouse to quit. That's what I was trying to do to him. And it wouldn't
You
go.
did.
Oh, really? See it? I didn't see it on my screen.
Yeah, that's the second time I've seen it.
Oh, okay. That happened to me when I was doing my video. I inserted something and I said it didn't work. And then when I went to edit the video, I saw it in there in like 2 places. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Maybe when you insert things and they don't work, you should, check your age or something.
I'm not sure what you're implying.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you do. Huh. If you rage quit, you're never gonna live it down at Finkelstein.
So here we are again. Back where we started. Muckster and Nikki take over the world.
I feel sorry for the world.
Yeah, me too. You'll be forcing everybody to put beehives in their living rooms.
No, not in the living rooms, because in the living rooms they can't find flowers or apple trees or,
you
unless
haven't seen my living room. It's full
unless
of lemon trees. Unless what?
we're living in, I don't know, caves.
Oh, tree houses, and you let the branches come right through the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool idea if you lived in the right kind of climate for it.
Right. Not one where it gets, below freezing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this seemed like a good idea in August.
Yeah, but then if you lived in the right climate for it, you wouldn't have to have the beehives in your living room. You would just actually have the hives or the bees.
Yeah, this is true. They'd be making their own hive.
Right. So I think we need to rethink our taking over the world.
Now that I think of it, so I did like a 18-minute, I think it was, video today. It took it forever to download, and usually I can make a 1 hour video, and it's down in a couple of minutes. So something is going on either with StreamYard, where I was trying to download it from. Hopefully it's just the StreamYard thing, because I wouldn't want it to be my computer.
Well, I'd like to know how you can download an hour video in just a couple of minutes. Mine always takes about 30 minutes when I do it.
Do you have 1 gig broadband?
I have 1 gig fiber, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, well then I don't know what your problem is. Yeah, I theoretically, hypothetically, I can download a 2-hour movie from a torrent site within 3 minutes. So I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I realize I don't know how to do a lot of things.
Well, this isn't really though a knowledge thing. It's more of an equipment thing. It's just funny because FiOS is really good that way.
Yeah. Supposedly. But I have noticed too, since a week ago or maybe a little bit longer, but when AT&T went down again, that a lot of the Wi-Fi and internet and everything, YouTube, etc., all started acting weird.
Well, YouTube has been hating on me. I cannot watch any live programs. I'll watch it for like a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and I get a thing up, a warning thing. And if I hit refresh, it'll come back for like another 20 seconds. I can't even watch. I won't be able to watch this once it's over there on YouTube. Now I can watch something that's recorded, but not if it was live, or if it's live at the time or was recorded live.
Wow. I don't know. And see, Mr. Nicky's been having kind of the same issue on some of his other channels that he watches. He'll
Well, they are, kind of coming down on porn.
yeah, well, I guess you could call it that. You know, it's tractors and stuff. So maybe for him it's porn.
Isn't that what's great? That's one of the good things about the internet and or YouTube and stuff is whatever you find interesting, somebody now has it out there. It used to be somebody would have had to order a tractor catalog and sit there and leaf through it. And now you could go and find every color and whatever.
Right. What was it that I forget? I was looking for something and I couldn't find it. And Mr. Nicky was like, "Oh, well, so and so's got a channel, a YouTube channel, and it's right there." And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, I still prefer, I guess you would say, the old-fashioned way of finding things, actually going and looking and touching and
No, I actually I love the internet. I when I was young, uh, I my fantasy thing was to have just like a huge house, which every with every possible book. So if I had a question, like what was Julius Caesar's middle name or whatever, there's a book I could go and grab and find it. And somebody actually created that for me out here in the internet.
Yeah, I understand that. And we we don't farm um Cafella or Safella. Um
I always go with
or
Cap.
okay, Cap. Um but Mr. Nicky did grow up on a farm, living, 3 miles from town, had to walk to school uphill both ways in 6 foot of snow. Uh,
In July.
yeah, pigs and chickens and garden and corn and beans and yeah. Bears? No, no bears. Coyotes, wolves, raccoons, possums.
I'd rather have bears than coyotes.
Oh, but the coyote and the fox. The coyotes actually are, uh, I don't know. I like the coyotes. I like listening to them. They they'll sit out in the field and start their howling, and of course our dogs will hear them, and then they'll have to go out and join in. We live near the yellow brick road. Um, Bigfoot. Um, no, no sightings of Bigfoot around here.
How about tiny foot?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Yellow brick road. Mr. Nicky said if we lived near the yellow brick road, he would be happy because that would be picking up gold, and you know, then maybe I wouldn't have to work so hard to support him.
You have any Puerto Ricans living around you?
Since the dairy farm closed, no.
It sounds like the perfect neighborhood.
You just said that because Ariel.
Yes, well, of course.
They don't allow Tinyfoot to come around per Mr. Nicky.
Well, I was thinking he had a typo there, and he meant, for Mr. Nicky because we know what it is that Tinyfoot is obsessed with.
Shh, people can hear you.
Well, couldn't tell what
Yeah,
he was saying.
you don't want to know what he's saying, but I'm sure you can imagine. Yes, family farming is tough these days because the younger generation, the kids, usually, they go to college and whatever, and they don't want to come back and do the hard work. So you really don't find a lot of family farms. A lot of it is corporations. Yeah, kids today now just want to sit behind computers.
So, this is interesting. Look over in the YouTube chat. Oh, yeah. But my comment comes right after Ariel's. And then over in StreamYard, Cliff is in between the two comments.
Right. Oh, I take it the Sox weren't supposed to win.
You always hate the Red Sox, no matter who they're playing, but especially with the Yankees.
Okay, so what about the White Sox?
They're in Chicago. Who cares about them?
Have you ever wondered, I mean, why we don't have like a team called Blue Sox or Green Sox or
Well, we did have the Black Sox.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, you would think people would have just continued right through the rainbow. Coming up now for the Purple Sox. Big game this week, folks. We have the Orange and the Indigo playing against each other.
And next week it'll be the Violet Sox versus the Green Sox. Okay, so Cap, you kind of understand what I was saying about, the family farm and smelly socks, being bought out by corporation farming and things like that.
Hey, wasn't that actually a song on Friends? Smelly socks, smelly socks.
I thought it was Smelly Cat.
Yeah. Why would anybody smell a cat? What are they feeding you? You sold your farm to Steve Cousin? So we're quiet up here. They're quiet down there.
Yeah,
I'm wondering why nobody's leaving.
I know. It's like,
It's you just picture a room of like a bunch of people just sitting around staring at each other. Government's now not allowing private citizens to buy homes anymore. They get outbid by the government pretending to be a corporation.
Well, not only that, Cliff, but I saw somewhere that The average price of a starter home now is $1 million. I'm sorry, but a starter home is, 2 bedrooms. At least to me, that's my idea of a starter home.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a language expert, but I'm pretty sure that says the birdie girl. We'll just sit here for a while and see how long it takes Yuri to realize he didn't unmute himself.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Ariel's advice and I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I actually was on the phone really late last night talking with someone. So I will see you later, Muckster.
Yep. Well, thanks for coming up. It made it more interesting.
I was back there for a minute.
right.
You took a while to bring me
Bye.
back up.
Yep.
Hi.
So,
Who was that?
you've been sitting there forever.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's because you know what? I wanted to come in and like have a little bit of the music in just before I got in, but but the thing is that like I was gonna let you know, but like right when I was about to move, I spilled somebody's beer, so I picked it up, and when I was picking it up, you guys were like waiting in the background. Did you get all that?
No, really. Are you waiting? Are you waiting tables?
No. I'm just in the park hanging out. No, that's not. Hey, Muck, were you still there?
No, I left.
All right, cool. If you see Muck, tell him that I had to go. But I just want to like give you a little Jerry break real quick,
Well, I would say we appreciate it, but we really don't.
Yeah, you do.
Are you happy you got the move made?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are you happy you got moved? That you're back on home turf?
Oh, heck yeah. Well, you see, like, and I don't know, man. I guess that's why I felt like posting on them today, because it's like just so you guys like can see like the type of camaraderie I was missing. You know what I mean? Like you want to talk about like and that's not even like that group that's there is like it's so like much smaller than it once was. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm having fun, and I like hanging out like this. So I
Good
mean,
deal.
I could do this like all day if it wasn't for wasn't for work.
What kind of work are you doing?
I got two right now. I got two regular retail jobs. One oh I'm not even gonna. I was about to get into it, but yeah, I'm doing two retail songs. Retail. I'm a little bit. I'm doing two retail jobs. Basically store stuff. Nothing. Nothing food related. Definitely nothing food related. If that's what you're thinking. If you're thinking anything that has to do with food, you're absolutely wrong in every single way.
Well,
Don't even guess that.
Well, Ariel said Taco Bell, and that's not real food.
No. Oh well, yeah. It's actually a good answer. Shit.
Cart says she was blocked from your live stream.
It's okay. I'm gonna be fixing that. I want to go live, but I'm just a little too boots on the ground right now. There's too much movement, and I could even like yesterday's, was it yesterday? I don't even know what day it is. Even yesterday's live stream was it wasn't intended to go long. I really didn't really want to talk about anything. Like I wanted to get out to talk to somebody else about something. I knew it was gonna be brought up, but I didn't know how much people actually wanted to care about it at the moment. Why are we quiet?
I was just trying to figure out what you were saying. I think I know what you're saying, but I wasn't real sure.
You're hurting my feelings, you know that, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
I know. I can't duplicate that night. That was crazy. Um, yo, I was gonna leave, wasn't I? That's what I was gonna do. I didn't have no agenda here. I gotta go.
Yeah. Well, stop.
I'll see you later, bud.
Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you again. Well, guys, that seems like a good place to close up shop, don't you think? Unless anybody has anything earth-shattering to talk about. I believe you meant to say mucho loco. Well, Cart, if you want to come up here and keep me company. No, wait a minute, Cart. You just woke up? Isn't it like 12:30 or something? Yeah, I know, because I wouldn't understand your haughty-taughty Australian. We have been having fun the last couple of days, haven't we? Well, you might find the conversation at the beginning early, or you can say you could watch my video, but it's not all about the same thing. Here, Cart, I'll do this for you before we go. And I don't know if there may be other people here who weren't here to see what this actually was supposed to be all about. Every Friday I try to do a thing where I read a local newspaper, and I do it for Joe because it's a lousy newspaper. It's a weekly thing. But this week, there was a story in there that was not so funny. And for the purposes here, I took out just this bit where I read, and I'll let you see what we were talking about before you crawled out of bed at the crack of 5 in the evening. Here's something that says battle for baby. Child Youth Services kept newborn from Clearfield County couple for 6 days for not consenting to have baby's blood drawn. Couple cites religious beliefs, falsified facts at center of case. Let's see what this is about. A couple have been reunited with the baby after the 12-hour-old infant was taken from them by CYS. The baby was born July 15, and according to the father, 12 hours later, as the parents waited to receive their discharge papers, a police officer showed up at the hospital along with a CYS agent. CYS alleged that because the baby's mother had had no prenatal care, had not received a Group B strep test while pregnant, and because the parents did not consent to have their baby's blood drawn, the parents were acting against medical advice and putting the baby's safety at risk. The baby was taken from its mother's arms. Now, let me just say, I will think that parents who do not want to have prenatal checks and blood tests and so forth are wrong. But do we want the government involved in this? This may be one that I go through the whole article. Parents told the journal their religious beliefs prohibited bloodletting, and it hasn't said, but I think, isn't it the Jehovah's won't donate blood? They won't have blood drawn. This, I can't believe this happened. Baby's parents went immediately to Clearfield County Courthouse to file an emergency custody petition. While there, the baby's mother was arrested on a civil 302 warrant. Warrant for emergency, see page 3. Where's that? Oh, that's page 3. Sorry, folks. Warrant for emergency examination because, according to the husband, while CYS was preparing to take the baby, the husband said something to the effect that doing so could cause the mother to want to shoot herself. The wife was, however, discharged from the emergency room because the doctor diagnosed her condition as political discrimination, religious belief, and healthcare recommendation conflict. Okay, now let's think about this for a second. Should you be taken into custody because somebody else says if this happens, they would probably want to kill themselves? This seems shaky. You know, it's not quite the same as saying my wife has threatened to kill herself. You know, it's the husband guessing at what the wife's thinking, and the police act upon that. This article, man, during the emergency custody hearing in front of Judge Paul Cherry, a CYS representative listed other encounters the couples had in the past with the agency involving their 5 other children. Cherry confirmed that the couple had not declined blood testing their newborn. Had the couple not declined, they wouldn't be in court that day. So the matter of the other children was a moot point. Seems like the judge, at least, is thinking. CYS acknowledged this is true. The infant's mother told the judge that CYS had falsified facts and produced records facts from the hospital showing she did in fact have prenatal care, did have the strep test, and that she was deemed by the ER doctor to be mentally sound. The baby's father said the baby had its temperature taken and its breathing and heart rate monitored at the hospital and that the child was perfectly healthy. At no point did the hearing did CYS allege the baby was in any way unhealthy or in danger, nor did CYS or the judge cite any laws that mandate testing or prenatal care. Rather, the issue CYS identified was that the parents refused to comply with testing and were uncooperative because they acted against medical advice. It's not the government's job. The baby's father asked the court what the point of consent is if the only answer that's acceptable is the one approved of by CYS. He questioned the precedent of ruling against the parents, which said as making consent a one-way street would constitute a clown world. Well, okay, guy, whatever. Judge Terry ultimately refused the parents' emergency custody request and ruled the baby's welfare was best seen to by CYS. He set the next hearing date as July 29. Could we have a big WTF? The parents drove immediately to Harrisburg Superior Court, only to learn they don't have jurisdiction. The father then filed a civil rights case in federal court against Judge Jerry in Johnstown with an attached motion for emergency injunctive relief. CYS withdrew its case, provided the parents complied with CYS inspection of their house and other children before returning the infant. I think you can guess what two words I would have for CYS at this point. You know, if you know me, I believe in vaccines. I believe in prenatal care. I believe in doing what the doctors recommend. But I also believe that the government should be very limited in how they interfere with either your body or the bodies that you are in charge of. And that's what we started off talking about today. And there was no indication that the baby was in any way in medical danger. And they said it was their religious belief, and we do have something in this country called religious freedom, supposedly. Yeah, it kind of just seems like CYS is out to get these people. They said they'd had contact before, but the people have 5 other kids and they're all at home. So obviously they've never had kids taken away. So CYS has not been able to do anything to them. So it kind of seemed like they were stretching on this. But can you imagine taking a newborn away from a mother? Yeah. Yeah, and if the other kids were being mistreated or living in squalor or whatever, then CYS would have brought that up and said, Your Honor, we cannot allow a baby to go into these conditions. But nothing like that was brought up either. Yep. I do believe it's government overreach. And isn't it interesting that CYS decided, oh, it's okay, all we need is a home inspection now once the person threatened a federal suit? Yeah, and like I say, I certainly agree with the practice. If I had a baby, I wouldn't try to prevent them from doing that. But if there are Jehovah's Witnesses for one religion, they do not believe in drawing blood. They do not believe in blood transfusions. So if these people are Jehovah or something like that, the other thing is too, they were so anxious to take the baby away. They said the baby was 12 hours long. Now, even with the way insurance is now, and they try to get people out of the hospital as fast as possible, I'm pretty sure a mother and newborn are not sent home till the next day. So why would CYS be in such a hurry? Yeah, that would, Cart, that would. Anyway, I am going to take off now. It's always good to see you guys. Cap, Cart. Have a fun. You're the only one that's actually left around. It says there's more people here, but nobody's talking. Sometimes I think people will park in various places and then sort of wander around. But have a good Saturday. And if not before, remember our first podcast is Sunday, 1 o'clock here, which will be early morning for you, Cart, but you can always catch it recorded later. Well, thank you for coming in, Cart.